very privileged to be joined this evening by Lieutenant General Kanwaljit Singh Dhillon, better known as General Tiny Dhillon. He's a former Deputy Chief. He's been Director General of the Defence Intelligence Agency. Very notably has been Corps Commander of the Srinagar Corps, where I'm bringing this broadcast to you from. He's also a national best-selling author. General Dhillon, always a pleasure to have you. Thanks for being with us. My first question to you, sir, is 10 days after the Pahalgam attack, and I'll come to the LC in just a bit, but I want to ask you, 10 days after this attack, the terrorists who perpetrated that massacre in Pahalgam are still at large. How do you read that situation? Why is it so difficult to find them, sir?
Good evening, Shiv, and good evening to your viewers. Yes, it's been 10 days, and as you can, the viewers can recollect, after Pulwama, we had got them within 100 hours. But why Pulwama and Pahalgam are two different set of situations? Pulwama happened in a valley floor and with lot of built-up areas around. So terrorists, we did not allow them to get into a hideout. And that's how when they were moving or when they're speaking, we got the intelligence and we got them. Now here, the selection of the objective was such that terrorists, after committing this crime, the heinous crime, they walked into the jungle, as we can see on your screen now, they walked into the jungle where the security forces would take minimum 1 to 1.5 hours to reach the spot, because after the incident, the security forces would get ready, move into a vehicle, get to the debussing point, walk up 30 to 40 minutes, come to the place of incident, get the information and what actually happened, and thereafterwards the hot pursuit starts. And once inside the jungle, like in the Baisaran Valley per se also, the mobile connectivity is very poor. That's why the information coming down took a lot of time. So once inside the jungle, the terrorists had a good about 1 to 1.5 hours lead from the security forces, and they had about 3 hours to get into a hideout before the last light. And Baisaran Valley, if I can explain for the benefit of the viewers, or Pahalgam Baud per se, is surrounded by the pine forest as you see it on your TV screen, all around it. There are small little open patches like Baisaran Valley, Adu Valley, Betau Valley, which are the tourist attractions. Otherwise, this whole area is surrounded all around by a thick pine forest. And when I say pine forest, it has primary jungle, it has secondary jungle, and it has tertiary jungle. That means the undergrowth on ground is 5 to 6 feet high. I have walked in these jungles. If you miss the person walking in front of you by more than 2 meters, you will miss him. The line of sight does not allow more than 2 to 3 meters at places. And there are places in these jungles where sunlight has not touched the ground in history. That means the tree canopy is so thick. So we are talking about a very difficult terrain, and this, as it keeps going higher, we are moving into the high altitude areas. So it is very difficult terrain, and to get these terrorists in this area. And one important point which the viewers must understand, this area has been free of terrorist actions for quite some time. Al-Fran happened in the beginning of the terrorism in Kashmir, in Adu Valley, and thereafterwards, because of the tourist season and because of the yatra, very few terrorist incidents have happened here. And as a result, security forces' presence inside these jungles has been more or less negligible. As also the information network or the intelligence network, since there are no terrorists, there are no intelligence flowing, so there are no sources who are activated. So all these things combined together are taking the time which it is taking.
General, my second question to you, the investigation is continuing. We know many overground workers have been detained for questioning, etc. Obviously, the second question that I will come to you about is what's happening on the line of control. Yesterday, I was at the LC in Kupwara sector. Today, I've just returned from the line of control in the Uri sector. And it is very clear, and we don't obviously reveal any operational details of our side, but the Pakistani side is rattled. They are mobilizing. They don't know where the next move is actually coming from. The ceasefire violations are obviously escalating day on day. Where do you see that going, sir? Not talking about India's next move, but what's happening at the LC, where do you see that going? Is it going to escalate into heavier weapons and more damage?
Shiv, in your report, which you were showing prior to our conversation on the line of control in the Uri sector, I could actually identify a few places without naming them, because one has been working on this for I don't know how many years. Having said that, see this small arms fire ceasefire violation, which is happening, it happening in the Kupwara sector, in Uri sector, and in Punch sector, and the Rajouri sector down below. These are the indications of Pakistan Army being under, you can say, very cautious and rattled, the word which you used. The heavy weapons have not opened up as yet, but this ceasefire violation is to, self-motivation, to give themselves the feeling of, moral ascendancy on the line of control. And other ceasefire violation of small arms which happens is, there are certain posts in Pakistan and the certain units on the line of control towards POK side who fear that they are going to be attacked tonight. So it is in panic and a prophylactic fire. They will fire every 2-3 hours, 1 magazine, 2 magazines, just to make sure, even if Indians are coming onto their post, something will hit anyone randomly. So it's a fear factor, panic factor, and they're totally rattled. That's why the small arms fire on the line of control used to be a very routine thing prior to ceasefire agreement. And after that, it used to happen to give covering fire to the infiltrating terrorists from the POK side. But what is happening after Pahalgam is a sheer panic in the line and rank and file of Pakistan Army, just because they're too scared to stay in those posts, thinking something like surgical strikes may happen again.
It's very interesting to see all of these developments, General Dhillon. I did have a few more questions, but my apologies, we're out of time. But I promise you we'll be getting you back on the show because our coverage is going to continue non-stop. This is India's biggest story. So I thank you for sharing that crucial wisdom with us. General Dhillon is widely followed on social media. You can see his views there as well. And we will continue to ask the questions, visit the places where this big national story is unfolding right here on India Matters. General Dhillon, thank you very much for being with me. Well, that's a wrap on tonight's edition of India Matters, once again from Kashmir. And we will, like I said, continue to put the spotlight on this unfolding story. No operational details. We stand with our forces every time, no compromise and no exception.